Hi, my name is Lillian Berger, and this is my community in words and pictures. I live in a small town called Boothwyn. This is an aerial map of the little town of Boothwyn. This is in Pennsylvania, very close to the border of Delaware. Population of Boothwyn in 2010 was 4,933. In comparison to the year 2000, that's a 5.2% increase. Number of males in Boothwyn are 2,365, which puts our male population at 48% and females at 52% with 2,568. The median resident age is 37.6, which is in comparison to Pennsylvania is very close, which is 40.8. Our zip code that is used is 19061. There are several areas that can use that same zip code, which can be very confusing. So we get mail at several different little towns. I mean, our zip code can say that, the town can say something else, and we'll still get the mail, which is really curious. The estimated median household income in 2019 for this area was $80,051, which is a pretty good increase from the year 2000, which was 46,433. So if we compare Boothwyn to the state of Pennsylvania, the median income for Boothwyn is $80,051, and Pennsylvania's is $63,463. Boothwyn does not have a large diversity, as you can see from this graph from the city data. The most 80.7% of my community is white, 4.6% Hispanic, only 11.7% are Black, 2.6% are Asian. So we are predominantly white. As I began researching and trying to find out more about my area, my husband and I just bought our property and moved into this area 6 years ago. So this was a very good thing for me to do, to have to research this, and I found out a lot of things about my area that I didn't know before. If you look here on the map, Boothwyn is right in the center of several communities that influence, what happens in our own community of Little Boothwyn. We are Upper Chichester Township. When I began my search, most of the material that was readily available was Upper Chichester Township. It was very hard. I had to dig really deep to find, the numbers that I found for just Boothwyn, because a lot of things are, even the high school is not considered Boothwyn High School. It's Chichester High School. We do have a couple grade schools, but we are one small community amongst, as you can see here on this map, that all, operate under Upper Chichester Township. It was interesting to find that there is some diversity as far as ancestries go. So that was kind of a fun thing to see. But 20% is the largest, which are Irish. Likely homosexual households, lesbian couples, gay men, and you can see that's 0.2, 0.1%. So there is no diversity in our community when it comes to those lifestyles. The education attainment charts show that this one in particular shows a comparison between Boothwyn and Pennsylvania. If you look, a lot of the community graduates from high school and at least go on to some college, some associate degree. A larger portion have bachelor's degrees, but there are still a few with professor school degrees and doctorate degrees also. So it's an area in which education, I think, is considered an important thing. I said before, the only schools we have are two grade schools, elementary schools, and these are they. The high school is the Upper Chichester High School. So, because there's not enough people in the little community of Boothwyn to have a high school, but the high school takes care of all of the Upper Chichester area as far as the township goes. Most of the common industries that we find here, educational services, 10.7% hit at the high. I'm assuming this is probably school teachers for the high school, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and so this is what is within Boothwyn, which is it's a real nice balance from what I could see. Food and beverage stores, administrative, and the waste management that happens here in our community, professional science and technical services, construction, and healthcare, of course, being. It's nice to see that healthcare is up there along with the educational services. Construction, um, that's kind of encouraging because that means the community is concentrating maybe on some building and advancements. So that's a good healthy thing. Are numbers hard for me to look at. Of course, if you look at the fact that there are very few Black people in my community, of course, looking at the poverty rate as 72.81%, um, it it still hits you. That just seems to be, I don't know, out of place. Like something should be done with that, and I wonder why is that when there's only a 2.76% poverty in our community when it comes to the white population. So I think I'd like to understand that a little bit more, but that is my community when it comes to the poverty level. This is our firehouse. This is not Boothwyn. This is Upper Chichester Firehouse. The fire company takes care of Upper Chichester Township. So even though we are the small town of Boothwyn, we are taken care of by the Upper Chichester Township. The township fire company. The town of Boothwyn itself is considered one of the safest areas to live. We have an A minus area, which means we have very little crime. So, but again, if we do need any services as far as police go, we don't have our own police. We are a part of the Chichester Township, Upper Chichester Township, and the Upper Chichester Police Department is who cares. And this is a picture of the Upper Chichester Police. This is who comes to our rescue if we do need anything, or who watches over our community to see that it is a safe place. The question was put that we should try to think of a way that we would like to see changes made in our community since we, did the research and saw what was here. I feel my community is a fairly healthy community. We have not as much diversity as I'd like to see, but it's it's a safe community. We have things for healthcare and organizations for in construction and et cetera, et cetera. Um, we also have several, I mean, the church population, there's at least 6 different churches that are close to us. There are none right within Boothwyn, but there is there's a community of faith, the different kinds of faith, but a lot of conservative. So that makes the conservative political atmosphere be what it is. If I were going to say that see anything that I think needs improvement, it would be with the police department. I had a personal experience with my oldest son who he is 45 and was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was in his early 20s. And I did have an incident where I needed to call the police, and they were less than compassionate. And I feel that if I can do anything to improve my community, it would be to make sure that more training is given to the police officers as far as mental health goes. So that would be my my desire for creating improvement in my community. And this is my reference page, which most was done online through searching data, you know, data places that would. It was a very, very long, long trip. And of course, then the seeking the good community and what is a good community. Um, no community is perfect, but I do feel I live in a good community.